because it's disrespectful what you did to your real last name. And I'm going to let him tell you his real last name. So Fairfax, give a live, warm welcome for my man, Inge!
Fairfax! Good evening, everybody. My name is Engin Yeşilyemiş. I'm your comedy exchange student this evening. I am from Turkey, and I smoked some weed, had a few drinks back there, and I'm also operating on my fourth language. Woo! So in an unlikely event, if there's an English scholar among you, fuck you. We're gonna do this on my broken English. And English is hard, man. English is very difficult. I went to college in this country, and my grades didn't translate properly, so they put me on academic probation. So I have my A game, raising my hand, doing my thing. Now it's time to do some written essay style examine. And I got stuck because I didn't know how to spell the past tense of the verb to read. I can tell there are no English scholars among you. Let me break it down for you guys. Just like any other comic here, I spent my academic career in the far back seat, so I had to walk all the way to the front to the TA and say, "Excuse me, how do you spell red?" She looked at me and said, "Same." I'm like, "What do you mean?" "You write read, you read red." I looked at her and I said, "How the hell did you guys learn how to speak English?" She said, "Sometimes you just gotta believe." And you know, we're talking about being parents. Your education shapes your parenting. I have a 7-year-old where I'm teaching her how to read. We're at the letter of C. So C is a S. Sometimes it's a K. If it's with an H, it's a Ch. And my 7-year-old is looking at me going, "Daddy, what are you talking about?" I'm like, "Baby, sometimes you just gotta believe. Sometimes you just gotta believe." English. Phrasing in English is very fascinating. My first boss in the United States described my performance at the job with this phrase: "You pay peanuts, you get monkeys." There's no fat in that joke. And it totally described my work output, which was shit, while I was making $7.50 at a bike shop. Yeah. And ever since, I'm always curious about where a phrase comes from, where it's going. I live in Santa Rosa, and over there we put together some comedy shows, and sometimes I do sound for them. We had a female comic on the stage, and she described herself as flat-chested as a Japanese schoolboy. I took my headphones off. I'm like, "What did she say? Can she say that now? In this political climate? Is that Asian hate? Like, what's going on?" So I ran home. My girlfriend is a native English speaker. I said, "Babe, today I heard the phrasing as flat-chested as a Japanese schoolboy. Is that a thing?" She confirmed. She said, "Yes, I've heard that. And now I have this information. I have to do something with it." I'm looking at it on a piece of paper going, "How can I make this funny?" So I started asking questions at this phrase. Like, do Japanese people know that we have a phrase like this? Why Japanese? Why are we outsourcing this? Isn't like a schoolboy a schoolboy? Why not an American? Then I thought to myself, perhaps we're running out of flat-chested American schoolboys. It's your language. It's your language. I'm just speaking it. I'm just speaking it. And Being an immigrant, it's a tricky business in this country, and but immigration is a funny business too. Now we're all dealing with it, and the way I view immigration, it's like merging onto the highway. Some people, like myself, it says 65 on the plate, I do 75, I'm in. You don't even fucking feel me. But some other asshole tries to get on the same highway with a horse and buggy, doing 15. It's not the same experience. So, as an immigrant, just like most of you, I don't like immigrants either. There's a reason. There's a reason. Boo? Yeah. All right. The drunk woke lady at the bar has spoken. That's what we needed tonight. I'm going to give you some examples, babe. This is how it works. So, the types of immigrants that I don't like. For example, the gimmicky immigrant. You know the one. Gimmicky immigrant. Is your English not your first language, ma'am? Okay. See? Fourth. I'm doing well here. Thank you. Thank you for the confirmation. So, the gimmicky immigrant looks something like this. Hijab, full face of makeup, and then Lululemon tights. I'm from a Muslim country. I know how the deal works. I can see your ass, lady. Who are you fooling? Right? And then competitive immigrants, especially if they're from like Middle East, Turkey, like myself. I got in a cab the other day. The guy was from Turkey as well. I said, Selamun alaikum. He said, alaikum assalam. We took our masks off and it was on. Now we were competing who the better Muslim is in that taxi. He hit me hard. He said, Engin, you're from Izmir. I'm from Adana. Is it true where you're from, you guys consume alcohol during Ramadan? I said, yes. My grandpa did it, my dad did it, I do it. He goes, what kind of Muslim does that? I said, this kind, bro. It's a human experience. That's why we're in America. And then this competition abruptly ended when we got to the strip club. He didn't like that. Although he was the better Muslim, I was the better immigrant. I gave him 5 stars. I gave him 5 stars. Yeah. Yeah, immigrants, immigration. Fucking this country, man. I love this country. There are many reasons why I love this country, but I'll give you guys one of the many reasons. It's in the top 5 for me. This is the only place on earth where you can buy a jacket, wear it for 17 months, and then return it for a full refund. It doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. It doesn't. In Turkey, they'll be like, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? You wore that shit. It smells like cigarettes. Yeah. And, oh boy. It's being an immigrant. With that immigrant comes the optimism. Knowing that I can buy a jacket and return it for a full refund puts ease at my heart all the time. And because of that, people come to me with their problems. Recently, someone came up to me and said, Engin, I was circumcised when I was a baby. My parents did not ask for my consent. It is possible I lost some sensation down here. I thought to myself, this guy jerked off a lot. He already wore it out. He's looking for someone to blame, because that's the vote, right? He goes, what do you think about this? I said, well, I mean, I'm fine. He goes, you're circumcised? I'm like, yeah. He goes, how are you so chipper? I said, well, I guess the presentation of the circumcision was a lot different than whatever you read about yours. He goes, what are you talking about? I'm like, I remember mine. A Turkish circumcision party takes 2 weeks. A quinceañera has nothing on a Turkish circumcision party. We partied for 2 weeks. They bought me 5 sets of suits. I had a cape bedazzled. I had a cane bedazzled. I had a crown that was bedazzled with feathers. They put me on the back of a Cadillac, drove me around with Turkish flags flying, bands going off. They pointed at me saying, this guy is stepping into the manhood. From here on out, everything's going to be hunky-dory. And then 2 weeks later, 2 weeks of partying, Allahu Akbar. And they tell you they put the peas in the rice pilau. No, they don't, you silly Americans. Believe everything. That's crazy. No, they don't. No, they don't. Yeah. And my friend was like, how do you remember all this? I said, Jake, when I got my circumcision, I was 10 years old. I have memories with my foreskin. You're bummed about something that you've never met before. That's why you need an immigrant friend. So we can sprinkle some lightheartedness on your life. I'm gonna leave you guys with this one. The pinnacle of immigrant optimism that I experienced myself. It was at the beginning of the pandemic. You are scared. I was scared. I have 2 daughters. I have a business. I have a family to run. I have all sorts of responsibilities. And the social media is like bombarding us with doom and gloom news. Everything is going terrible. I'm walking back and forth in my backyard thinking about these things, and then my chest started to cave in. I was like, ow. Ow. And there is a heart problem in my family, so I'm going, oh wow, this is it? Is this what's going to take me out? Is this how I'm going to die now? And right there, right then, the immigrant optimism kicked in, and I thought to myself, if I die now, I don't have to worry about any of this shit anymore. Just like a few of you, I laughed. When I laughed, I farted. When I farted, my chest pain went away. So the moral of the story is, stress makes gas. My name is Engin Yeşilyemiş. Have a fantastic evening.
Guys, give it up one more time for my man Engin.